Srila Prabhupada, he never thought it was ridiculous. Certainly it wasn't ridiculous. Later on people could see, but at the time you might see, what's he doing? It's hopeless. He's not getting anywhere. What was he trying to instruct those people for? So it's the same message. Srila Prabhupada didn't change the message. Same message. People may take to it, may not take to it, but he has to give the same message because he has the faith, that faith in Krishna's words, that we don't have to change anything. Just present Krishna's message as it is. And then if Krishna sends someone, let them come, we'll train them more. If they don't come, still we have to speak the same message. We may think our preaching is successful when many people come. That's true in one sense, but we have to see what they're coming for and what they do. First characteristic of successful preaching is that it's preaching Bhagavad Gita as it is. Otherwise there are so many successful preachings. There are so many Sris and Babas and Ammas. They're very successful in collecting people. But what is the use of such preaching? So by Krishna's mercy, I haven't discovered any new techniques of preaching. By Krishna's mercy, I still feel that what Krishna speaks is, and what Prabhupada gave us, what Krishna spoke is far superior to anything I could imagine. It's the truth. It absolutely makes sense. Everything Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we can see sense gratification is the cause of suffering. We can see this is not a religious belief. It's not something that will be very popular, but it's a fact. So we can bring thousands of people to some kind of with no substance whatsoever. What is the use of that? If people do not understand even this first basic point, yehi sangsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonya evate adyantavanta kauntayana teshu ramate buddha. There's no spiritual life without understanding that sense gratification traps us in this material world and causes us to suffer life after life. Spiritual life begins with this understanding. So if we don't talk about it a lot and teach that to others and preach that, then what is the preaching? That has to be there. Without understanding this, then you can chant Krishna Nam even for many lifetimes, and you won't advance in Krishna consciousness because we never untied that example of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The boat is tied to the stick which is hammered in to the ground, or there's a word for that which I can't remember. So that the boat is tied up to the shore. We're rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing, and we're not going anywhere. So that tied up to the shore means our material attachments to sense gratification. We have to say these things. So by Krishna's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy, I didn't discover any better preaching technique than speaking Bhagavad Gita as it is. And of course, all the other activities have to go on. Harinam, Sankirtan, book distribution, all these things. But in the role of Guru, one has to speak the message of Bhagavad Gita as it is, as we just heard from that quotation from Srila Prabhupada. So that's really all you have to do. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jare deke tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Amar agyai guru hoya taro e desh. That's how one is a guru. By speaking Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. So we should understand this. Now, every year at this ceremony, I state what I'm working on in writing, because many of my disciples ask me, what are you writing now? So, just to inform you all, well, many projects going on simultaneously. The book of mine, which should be published this year, Balaram book, should. You have to be more positive than that. Book on Balaram that's been sitting around in my computer in an unfinished state for many years, like many other books. So Kishore Prabhu is working on that. Well, that Patropadesh is also, it's finished, but almost ready for publication. That's not really a new book, that's just selection from some of my letters. So a book on Balaram, and then two major projects, both in the size, the scope and the importance of the message, which I'm working on, which won't be ready by next year. And probably may not be ready even in 2 years or more, are the books on Vaishnav culture, etiquette and behavior. Especially in the Gurukul, we want to teach from the beginning what are the proper behavior for Vaishnavas. I'm going to point out something now because it seems to be becoming popular. I corrected one of my disciples for doing this, and yesterday I saw in the drama team, anyone from the drama team here? Okay. All right, you're guilty of this crime also. It's not a crime, but I have to correct you. I'll just perform one gesture just to show you that you shouldn't do it, which is going like this. Please don't do it. It's, at least in the Bengal culture that I lived in, it's considered very rude. It's something from the West. So the culture that's been going on in India from practically time immemorial, many of things didn't change for hundreds and thousands of years. So there's no need to introduce all these things. It's not a major fault, but all these things we should train the children, and actually this Brahmin initiation, it should be trained in all these things. Not just, okay, I've been around long enough, it's time to hang a thread on my shoulder. But the Brahmanas, they should be ideal spiritual leaders. So they should know all these things. So that's one thing I'm working on, and then that of course you may have heard before, because it's something that has been in the offing for more than 20 years now. But I'm concentrating on that more now. I am also revising the Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. Some revision and some new things to be added, not much, but when you say not much of such a big book, it still comes to quite a lot. Then another well, it doesn't work like that because it's subject-wise. Anyway, another book of major importance, which, if it had been published 20 years ago, maybe ISKCON would not be what it is today. It might be in a better shape. The mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. It's still in a beginning stage, a very important book, because so many people are coming to the movement that is, in which it said, founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. But what are Prabhupada's, why did he form this society? What did he expect the members of this society to do? What instructions did he give them? What were his aims in doing so? All the members of this society should know that. But one reason that they may not know very well is because Srila Prabhupada, he said many things and in many places and many circumstances, and bring it all together and analyzing it is a major task. But that is essential for the future of our Krishna consciousness movement here. Now this body that I'm presently situated in is, by Western calculation, 57 years old. I just mentioned how the lawyer in England was astonished that Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, could do so much. 70 is the usual life expectancy. In Shastra it's stated 100 years in Kali Yuga, but it seems to be generally less. In the Bible it speaks of 70, which means 70. So we can't expect that there will be many more of these festivals with myself, because I don't expect to be around very long, but you all have to take up this work. You're all doing that also. I'm not finished yet, by the way. It's not that I'm going to retire, but at this age, you know, there isn't that much time left. You can't expect to have that much time left. So much work to do to fulfill the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on so many fields. We're talking about lot of emphasis in the last few years has been on, among my disciples, on Varnashram and book distribution, Varnashram and Gurukul, and prior to that, and still going on, book distribution. So many activities on so many fronts. And atheism has become prominent in the world recently. That is to be combated. The whole world is going to hell, almost literally. There's so much work to do in preaching in so many ways. So none of us can do very much because there's so much to do, but we're all very small beings. But I trust that you will continue to take up this mission and be responsible and carry it on into the future. Hare Krishna. So I'll finish there and we'll go on with the program. Hare Krishna Prabhu just came in, presumably that was to signify that they're ready to serve prasadam. Those who will take prasadam, they can go and take prasad. And what else? Then Radhesh Prabhu, Abhi, kya hoga? Now there'll be kirtan. Probably most of the devotees will go and chant japa. How many of you have chanted 16 rounds today? Few great souls. You all have to chant 16 rounds. So probably most will go for chanting japa. And meantime, kirtan will go on here. Okay. Hare Krishna. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.